great. South Haven, Grand Haven, Ludington, Manistee is wonderful. There's a casino right there. You park. They got a campground and a dump station. We just park in their lot, go in and gamble for a little bit.
Good to know.
Beautiful. And
It's a nice little
so
nugget.
again, enough time. I'm doing that. I'm coming right up here, and then a highlight is up here is called Sleeping Bear Dunes, and it's a national.
Yeah.
It's a national park. It's not a national park. It's a national seashore. So,
Okay.
you got to pay the $20 fee to get in there, but there's a big, huge dunes and great outlook.
And then you
And a
stop
ferry.
at
There's a
vegetarian.
ferry over there to back. Yeah, done that.
Yeah, okay. And then so you
So
go.
pretty up there.
I would go
It's a traverse sitting at Cherries.
if you like.
Yep.
And Joe likes
Not during a cherry festival.
lighthouses.
Yeah.
And there's a couple great lighthouses.
Okay.
There's one up here on this peninsula, and there's one on this peninsula.
Okay.
And, and then you're coming down through, you're going to get a little traffic in Traverse City, not much. And you're going to come up here. Petoskey, Harbor Springs, beautiful.
Yeah.
The whole area. And then I'm coming up here, and then you're going to go to Mackinac.
This is what I didn't do.
Okay, so then in Mackinac, you would want to go to Mackinac Island. And there's a-
Grand Hotel,
Yeah.
I
No,
wouldn't-
the
I
Grand
wouldn't stay.
Hotel.
skip it.
Probably overrated. How they charge you just to go in?
Yeah.
Just to go in because
You're a
everybody
dancer though.
everybody wants to just go in and sit
Yeah.
to get on the porch or whatever.
I think you have to pay $20 just to go in.
Yeah.
You gotta be good, man.
But Mackinac Island is great, and there's there's campgrounds in Mackinac City. There's a state park across the bridge in St. Ignace that looks right at the bridge. So I mean that's all.
State parks that you can reserve online.
Yeah, yeah. So to me that's and that's if you're just driving this,
It's an awesome trip.
that's 4.5, 5 hours. If you're stopping and doing whatever, that's a 2 or 3 days just to do this, depending how much you're stopping.
I've done a bunch of fly fishing around Baldwin, which is in here in the forest right there. It's
Okay,
beautiful in there. Wild
Manistee
turkey.
Forest, yeah. All right, so now the UP. I'm coming up again, time permitting, and you're going to make a big circle, and you'd go up to Sault Ste. Marie to see the locks. All right, the original locks that were built in the 1800s, and they've been expanded. That's worth seeing. You're going to come over here to Whitefish Point, and that's where the Edmund Fitzgerald went down. Right, in the 70s, and it's really a picturesque lighthouse and old Coast Guard saving station there, really beautiful. Then you're going to come down. You're going to go to Tequamanen Falls. Now that's the biggest waterfall in terms of water volume east of the Mississippi, other than Niagara Falls. It's not the highest, but in terms of water volume, so it's a pretty big falls. And this is the one that said it's a root beer color because of the cedar trees, the tannin in the trees, right? So then, from Tequamanen Falls, you got to come down here to Newberry, and then I would go back up to, come down. You got to go to Grand Marais.
So you go down and then back
Yeah,
up.
you got to go down,
over
because this is
there.
all dirt.
Roads.
It's all dirt
Okay.
road across here.
Okay.
A little rough. So you're gonna have to come down and go to Newberry, come over, and then take 77 up
Gotcha.
to Grand Marais. And I'm actually gonna post. I've decided, because I've told so many people and I've put notes on our Facebook page. I'm gonna make a
Cheat sheet.
a Word document. Yeah, itinerary Word document, and put it on our website for people just to refer to. All right. So then you could take this road along the top here, and it goes past Sable Falls, and Sable Point has a great lighthouse that you have to walk out to, a little bit beautiful lighthouse. And then that'll take you over to Munising. There are a number of waterfalls in Munising if you like waterfalls, and that's where Pictured Rocks is. So you take the boat out onto Lake Michigan, and you go along the shoreline and look at the cliffs and stuff.
And you have to
Lake
eat
Superior.
You have to eat a
Lake-
pasty there.
Lake Superior, yeah.
Truly.
Okay, and so then
You have to do what?
Eat a pasty.
Oh, eat a pasty.
Yeah. I've
I
done
just don't like turnips.
all right, so
Oh, I'm
then
in there. Or rutabagas.
rutabagas.
Rutabaga.
If you haven't eaten for 2 weeks, you'll like them.
Rutabagas? If I could crack them open.
Might not have any teeth left.
Okay, so now then from Munising, you got about an hour and 15, 20 minutes over to Marquette. The drive along here along Lake Superior is beautiful.
Is that Marquette, Wisconsin?
No, Marquette, Michigan. Marquette, Northern Michigan University is there. Nice town just to cruise around. There's some old iron ore docks there, the loading docks. It's quite picturesque, quite frankly. So you want to spend a little time in Marquette. Again, depends on your schedule. You got 2 weeks to do all this, great, kind of thing. Then you're going to take 41, and then we're going to pick 41 up over here, coming across, and you want to go up into the Keweenaw. All right, so they call this the copper country, and that's where copper was king in the late 1860s, early 1900s. All right.
My favorite place.
And I happen to go to school right there at Michigan Tech.
Okay.
In Houghton.
Michigan Tech with the hockey team.
Yeah.
You, yeah.
So, and you can go out there, and there's a harvest host near here. We stayed in Lake Linden. We've stayed there a couple nights. It's a museum, a history museum. They let you park in their parking lot. Well worth it. Highly recommend it. And Copper Harbor's got a couple great lighthouses up here. There's an old Indian fort that they built during the War of 1812. No, it's not an Indian fort, but it looks like that kind of thing. You know, it was there to protect the Great Lakes when the British were going crazy. Blah,
Where's
blah,
the
blah.
lighthouse that you can actually sleep in a lighthouse?
Well, that's over here. That's over near Marquette.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's over in Big Bay. And then I'm coming back down. You can go to the Porcupine Mountains over here, and there's national forest campgrounds there that are pretty accessible. A lot of waterfalls. They're going. The river's going. I think it's going out and going in, dumping into Lake Superior. We spent 3 days over there last year, just hiking through the woods. A lot of mosquitoes.
Black flies.
They're everywhere. It depends on time of the year.
They're earlier usually.
Depends on the time, whether you
Don't
get a
go
hatch.
after a rain.
Yeah, if you get a hatch. So then,
Anytime it has you have a big rain.
then I would come
Big
back.
hatch.
I'd come back down, work your way over to Iron Mountain, which is where I'm from. And there's an old Cornish pump museum for the iron ore mines there. There's an actual mine you can go in down towards Norway, which we highly recommend. And I would go to the ski jump. The ski jump I was talking about, just go look at the ski jump. It's impressive as hell. That's an Iron Mountain Kingston. Then you're going to take Highway US 2, and you're going to come back along over here, and you're going to hit Escanaba. Escanaba's got a cool lighthouse, great lighthouse museum, great museum there, one of the best actually in terms of lighthouse era stuff. And then you'll then come along here, and you're going to go to the Garden Peninsula. Highly recommend going out to Fayette. And that's an old iron smelting village from the 1860s. It was only viable less than 20 years. And they shipped the iron ore. The iron ore came from Iron Mountain and Negaunee and stuff to Escanaba, put on a boat. They had the smelting village there, and they made it into pig iron. Right, so they smelted off all the impurities. And then once they invented coke and charcoal and all that sort of thing, it just they used up all the trees and blah blah blah. But anyway, it's a great. They've got buildings in there that are decorated to period, you know, and different things. You can see the whole setting. It's really a gorgeous little harbor.
Wow.
And there's a state park down on that peninsula, but you would not want to miss that if you like history.
The harbor's beautiful.
Yeah. Then you're going to come back up to US 2, come along here. There's a great campground in Manistee, right on the water, Manistee Lake Shores. We will be there at the end of June. Then you're going to come back along to the bridge. There's a couple. There's
You should
a
have
Soul
taken them
Point.
to Kitchita-Kippy.
Oh yes, so I forgot. In Manistee, you want to go to Kitchita-Kippy Springs. All right, so it's 80 feet deep, and you can see the water coming out of the ground. And there's lake trout down there. You can see the lake trout down there. You know, they look as long as a table.
So you get on a raft, a wooden
You just
raft.
pull it. You pull
and
it across.
Pull
You
it.
pull yourself across.
You look down 80 feet of water,
Yes,
it's crystal
and
clear.
it's
Yeah,
crystal
crystal clear
clear.
because of
Huge critters.
Yeah, and they tell you about the whole limestone, the configuration of all the rock. It makes the water just pristine, like out of your faucet looking at
The
it.
fish are as big as this table, some of them are gigantic. And you can watch the springs coming up.
And that's the beginning of the Manistee River, which blah blah blah.
So we're in Ernest Hemingway territory, somewhere close to there. It's
Two-Hearted River. So the Two-Hearted River is up here.
one of our first couple stops. Up there.
Yeah, and it's hard to get to. It's about 15 plus miles of dirt road. It's on my list to go to, but I'm just hesitant to drive or beyond it. But if they have a beautiful National Park Service, not National Forest Service campground, right there where the mouth of the river,
Yeah.
beautiful.
heard
Where
people.
the beer was named after?
Yes.
Over?
No, Two-Hearted.
Two-Hearted.
The Two-Hearted, yeah.
Northern Michigan.
Some people that we follow and other the advanced RV guys, they're in Cleveland and they like that trip because they do a week trip from Cleveland.
So then you're going along, you're going along US. So Manistee, you'd want to see Kippy Springs, and then you're going to come along US 2 again. This drive along here is
Take a weekend and go.
spectacular.
So much.
You know, we
to
just
see.
take it for you sort of take it for granted. We try not to when we're driving through there,
Right.
but you're right on the water. I mean, the beach is right there, and you're just riding right along Lake Michigan. And there's a stretch. You know, you go in and out a little bit, but it's wonderful. And then you're back to St. Ignace.
Find Douglas Lake for you. Might be this
Oh,
one. It was
Why-
it
why
was
have I
it was
heard
the
of that?
Bellston Sheboygan exit. We
Okay,
take to
all
Douglas
right.
Lake.
That's
Douglas
why I
Lake,
got it.
Douglas
There's
Lake's
a
not,
camper
it's not
out
on this
there
side.
in
Douglas Lake
Bellston.
is over here, on this side. Yeah.
Wasn't that far? Oh, yeah, 75.
Yeah, Douglas
And then
Lake is on that
west.
side. I forget the name of
It's
that.
the last exit before the bridge.
That's Black Lake over here.
I don't know.
And, yeah, Douglas
over
Lake
here.
is here.
Where do you guys live?
You need to save this.
We live-
You know, there's some talk about tonight maybe getting together and doing this.
We live in
Some
Carson,
neat trips.
Where's
right
the
here.
This video.
Waterford, Holly. We go
We
right
took your battery.
Okay.
Ortonville, right? Yeah, right up here. Yep.
I think.
You're walking.
right off
It's
this
only about
15.
40 miles back to Brooksville.
Okay, so
not
yeah,
that
film
far.
this and then you can just show that tonight.
Yeah, we're from Kentucky. We love to put
I grew
together a
up-
bourbon trail.
That would be
Deal.
fun.
Oh,
That was really
Door
fun.
County down here.
This is Door County down
We
here.
did that
Right.
in
We all
the
should
bus.
do
That's a whole
the,
other trip.
Tell you
Oh,
nice
my
trip.
wife and I
areas
was
that
there
we're
last
familiar
year. It
with.
was
Right.
phenomenal.
Yes.
Create an
Boy, we
itinerary.
did
We could
this
be
and
on.
We didn't. I wish I could have.
We're
This
trying to figure how to get it
this
over.
lady
there. We haven't
across
come
the
up with that.
table was cool as shit. Done an incredible
Oh, she could
job.
share it with you.
Because if you haven't if you had enough time, you'd come out of Iron Mountain when you come down from the Keweenaw and go to Iron Mountain. You can come down to Green Bay and go around the bottom of the bay and go up into Door County.
Well, you can also take her beyond
Is
on
that
the
awesome up
ferry.
there?
Huh?
Is
Yeah.
Door County
Door
awesome?
County's
When I
outstanding.
lived in Chicago, people loved it, but I never.
There's Isle
Door
Royale.
County.
Isle Royale is
Yeah.
way
It's
up
up
here.
here.
That's off the top of the.
Oh wow.
Sean, where's where we got on the ferry? Show them where we took the bus on the ferry
Well, Two-Hearted Beer was probably named after his story.
with
He
me
had
and
a
Julie.
couple of
With Nate and
Took the
Julie?
bus.
stories.
Oh, we took a ferry across.
This Two-Hearted River.
Yeah,
Maybe
we took a ferry across
But you
from
can do that in
Huntington.
your Beyond.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, she
you
can.
Go back and look at Ernest Henry.
If they
But-
wanted
but-
to do
but-
it
but-
shorter.
It was
In a
half a
short section,
day.
not a lot of his stuff.
Well,
On
yeah,
the
but,
ferry.
but see, then you miss certain sections,
Yeah.
right? So one trip we took our VWs and we drove from over here where we live,
If
went
you
to,
were limited
to
for
Ludington and
time,
went over to Wisconsin
You can
and
take
went
the
up into
ferry
Door County
in Ludington.
from there.
In Ludington. You
where?
could take the ferry over
Oh, to get to Door County.
Yeah, to
Yes.
Door County. But then you would miss all this stuff up here, and
You don't ever want to miss any of
and
this.
I wouldn't trade. I wouldn't trade.
Happens on.
Yeah, I wouldn't trade missing this for a ferry
Done
ride.
some of this. So I did
We were talking about that last night.
Ann Arbor through
I know,
here,
we need to
Grand
get one.
Rapids, then I
Okay.
did all this up
This
to
is-
Traverse City,
City.
around to Alpena, and then back
Oh,
down.
nice.
Oh, you went to Alpena?
And if you were leaving from Elkhart, Indiana,
Get their sail.
That's the furthest.
I was
I would go
just right here.
Elkhart. I would go south end. Elkhart. I would go right up here.
Yeah.
I would take.
Goshen, right?
Yeah, this
I would
is-
take
this is really
31.
pretty stretch.
31 all through here.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Beautiful beach towns.
okay, great.
South Haven, Grand Haven, Holland.
But then there's a good brewery here in Grand Rapids.
Oh, there's many breweries in Grand Rapids.
Yeah, just go up the coast then.
Jen, there's a whole bunch of breweries.
Yeah.
Like,
Ludington's
we
a
camp there
Ludington's a
and
cool
just go
town.
from brewery to
Manistee is a
brewery.
cool town. Up here you got Sleeping Bear Dunes and different things. Acadia, there's a wonderful
just there.
pull-off at Acadia. Yeah.
We were just there before we came down.
And then you go out onto the points here, the wineries and lighthouse up here. There's a lighthouse up here.
Really?
Come through Petoskey. This is just a gorgeous area, Petoskey and Colorado Springs.
Our son got married at Charlevoix.
Yeah.
Did he?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Castle Farms.
Pardon?
Castle Farms.
So we camp up here
What's the best
in
wedding
Petoskey
setting?
to look for. Do you know what a Petoskey stone is?
I have
You have to
heard.
look it up.
Like geodes?
It's not a geode. It's a fossil, but you'll have to look for them on the
And up
beach.
here in
It's got
Grand
the
Marais,
little, like,
in Grand Marais, we
little
get the
circles.
Uper stones.
Yeah,
So we
all
do
through
like
it.
where
All
they-
through it.
Petoskey stones down here, but we get Upper lights up here where they, if you put a black light on them, they actually glow.
And I'm going to polish them.
And I forget the name of the mineral that's in there.
But to
that does
find
cause
them
it.
when they're in the water, the easiest way to find them is in the water. If you don't, you're not going to find them on shore.
I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make it, Doc.
Well, I
In
wish
the
you
water,
would.
they look like
I missed the
the
first
colors.
part of your talk there, but
But when
Well,
we
what do you
camped
wanna
in
hear?
Petoskey,
I don't want you to repeat all that. I can kind of remember it, but there was just so many great things you mentioned. But I'm
Yeah, Susan,
kind of with you,
you're gonna go to the locks. Then you would want to go to Whitefish Point.
right? Okay.
I highly recommend all these stops. They're not just marginal stops.
Right. Gotcha.
Tequamanen Falls is outstanding. You got to walk a little bit to get to the falls, but it's a nice little buggy.
Do you
Down
have
in
an
New-
iPhone? Do you have an iPhone?
I do.
Jackie might be able to just
Yeah, she
share,
can share
airdrop
that.
it. Airdrop
Can
it.
you? Can she airdrop that
and
whole
then you'll
thing?
have the whole thing.
Yeah, that'd be better.
Oh,
than-
that would be awesome.
And then you want to go back up to Grand Marais. There's a great county park.
It'll airdrop.
No, it'll go.
In Grand Marais, there's a
think
great
it'll
county
go?
park that a third of the park or so is
It'll
first
go.
come, first
Just be
served.
close.
So during the week, you get there at 11 o'clock and you're right on Lake Superior.
You're still
And you can walk to town. There's a brewery, microbrewery in town. You walk 2 blocks to town. Yeah, we go there. Yeah, we go in there almost every year.
So, Bluetooth is on.
Sable Falls is great.
Wi-Fi, it's okay. So you just saw that it said wine guard or something, but it's not connected. But,
Your Wi-Fi's not connected, but that doesn't matter. You can
which means hers isn't either, right?
right, but you'll be able to use
Oh, just the Bluetooth.
You gotta connect down to get to your garage.
Yeah, so
I just want to make sure it's clear of when we can take this road versus.
yeah, from Grand Marais, you would
Oh,
you
that's
could
right.
take you
Here
could
it
take
is.
this 28. No, it's not 28. So you would go up.
Up here.
You would from Tequamanen Falls, which is here. You have to come down and then go back up.
Yeah, there it is.
But from this 158
I
from
always say to
Grand
John-
Marais to
I always say,
Unising
Can we go
is
back up?
drivable.
I want to go.
That's a
I
paved
like
road.
to be all the way up here.
That's a paved road.
Just, you can't go any further.
Well, we had never been up there at all until last year. We went up to Door County.
Copper Harbor.
yeah.
This is what I highly recommend
Yeah.
the Copper
Yeah, and
Country.
our next, we were going to come after Door County, come up and do
You think
all
you're in
this, so
Maine
we
up there with the
kind
rocky
of cut
shores
our
and
trip short
and
and
different
retreat
things in
down
Maine.
to our son's place.
We actually went out and found a lighthouse we had never been to last summer. Oh, you're welcome.
We didn't get a chance to get up there and see this.
That's fast, though. I know it's pretty fast.
That's a lot to get.
Well, we'll get more help.